All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
I can't be as excited as I normally am because I'm still trying to get over this stupid cough and chest cold and stuff. But what's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is Loyalist, and today it's a time for celebration. That's right. The Indianapolis Colts finally got back to 500. 500. They're 5-5. They're a half a game out of a wild card spot. And there are plenty of people, like 3 guys that are sitting at 5-4 rather than 5-5. Well, the Colts, they don't get their bye week until 14. Can't hear me? What do you mean you can't hear me? I was going to say, it should be able to hear me fine. Okay. What I'll do then is I'm going to move this back up a little bit. There we go. All right. I just maxed it up. He lying. Brandon Souther says truest messing with me a little bit. Guys, I will ask for your patience. My chest's still a little messed up. This is the second podcast I went through today. Obviously, I uploaded right before we went live. I uploaded my recording with the Jacksonville Colts. Had a lot of great stuff we discussed on there as well. So make sure you go check that out afterwards. Loyalist, how was your weekend?
My weekend was fantastic. I mean, sat there, started off with a nice Saturday win by my Fighting Irish, and just, IU basketball's back in, and that went good for me. So sports-wise was great. The family was, family, the good with the bad, but, we're all muddling through it together. So,
yeah.
Like,
what about the game? How'd you enjoy watching the game?
it was one of those games where it's like the first quarter, I'm totally mind blown by how it started, because quite honestly, I thought that we would run the ball against this team, but I thought that we be met with a lot of resistance. And that first quarter, it was like JT to the right, 35 yards, JT to the left, 28 yards, and I was just like, awesome. I was sitting there, I remember putting on there, I was like, he might get 100 before the first quarter's out, and, right after that, it was just like, everything went screeching on the brakes, and then it was just like, okay, turned into more of the game that I sort of thought that we would see going into it. Everything came much tougher, but the nice thing is this team did not buckle. They didn't go through. Yes, we still gave up a little ground on the scoreboard, I understand, but I don't feel like this game was ever in deep jeopardy. And I felt like that our offense, whenever there in the fourth quarter, finally got that last drive. Granted, it was only a field goal, but making it from a 3-point to needing a touchdown was huge at that point in time.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, all in all, like I said, it was a amazing start. A little rough there in the middle, and then at the end, it was just a nice, we're back to even.
Yeah, the running game kind of expected. They weren't expecting Jonathan Taylor to really go out there and maul people, like just gone. Our offensive line was doing well, opening up just enough holes for him to get through. But then we started getting injuries and penalties, and that kind of hurt us, right? We was getting holding calls. There's nothing like getting a holding call after again, it happened again this game. 33-yard run called back for holding, and instead of being 1st and 10 after 33 yards, bam, now you're like 2nd and 15 or 2nd and 20 or some crap like that, and that kills us. And we had a ton of penalties this game, a ton, almost all of them on offense. It was awful. But I was looking at it, and the Colts actually did a good job defensively throughout this game. Now, they were helped out by Trevor Lawrence, who was not throwing the ball well at all. Okay, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Yes, the Colts did a good job in the first half. They were knocking passes down, and that Kenny Moore was out there knocking them down. Freaking Rodgers.
Isaiah Rodgers. Yeah.
Rodgers was out there knocking them down. Rock was out there playing his heart out. They were doing very, very well. That end around by the wide receiver, that was just, it caught the team off guard. I've said it a million times that misdirection plays, they kill the Colts sometimes because they use their speed to go after and then misdirection. Then the next thing you know, he's got the edge and he's gone, But that was really the only play in this whole game that the Jacksonville had. Heck, the Jacksonville started the second half with an 11-play drive, an 11-play drive, and an 11-play drive, and they got a field goal out of all three of those together.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's impressive. And then the rest of the drives that they had were 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 plays, and that's it. And that says a lot about our defense being able to go out there and shut them down. So I'm very, very proud of what they did in that game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'd like to go ahead and go back to these corners and stuff because they showed me something this weekend that I as a fan, I really needed to see something because, Xavier Rhodes, he's been in and out with injuries and stuff. I know he's dealing with that calf, but even whenever he's been in, it's sort of just like, man, his play's just not where it was last year, Now this year, like we said, Rock has really stepped up, but Isaiah Rodgers, he to me came out and showed that he has that tenaciousness, I guess, or whatever. He's not always in the best of positions, but he's quick enough to recover, and he will fight anybody for that ball in the air. And he when he makes a play on the ball, he follows his instincts really well. That last knockdown there late in the fourth quarter where Lawrence threw it to the outside. And to me, I was like, what's he doing? He's getting totally out of position. But he was obviously had already seen enough film to know where the Lawrence was going, and he beat the receiver to the spot and then broke up the pass, and it was like, man, it was that close to him turning it the other way around. So
there was a couple plays that I thought should have been interceptions in this game and wasn't. And none of them was from Wentz.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow. Even his left-handed freaking shuffle pass, I was like, when it happened, it made me a little upset. But then when I looked at the play and I seen what happened, I would have probably done the same thing because Taylor was wide open when he threw it so that he was safe on that throw. It looks bad because it was catch, whack, but that's because the defensive end happened to see that Wentz was getting ready to throw the football. He turned around and ran after him. But hey, he did what he needed to do. What's up, Fuzzy Whistler? Thank you so much. He's in here in the chat. He said, what's up, guys? Go Horse. And then drops that $25 in the Loyalist laptop. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. That brings us to an even 300. Now, technically, I think it's like 375 because 25 of it's funny about this. This thing here, whenever there's donations made, whether it's, at all, it gets added. And when we went live a couple weeks ago with the Quell Jackson, donations went to this as well. But still, we appreciate it very, very much. Guys, if you want to help this channel out and are able to do more so than just smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live. Man, you could do it the way Fuzzy Whistler just did by using the link in the description of the video where it says tips. And if you don't want to deal with it and you absolutely need to use a YouTube super chat, we're not going to say no. So we appreciate it a lot. Guys, other ways that you could support this channel, lots of ways. All right. First off, we all love the Colts. That's why we're here, right? And we all want Colts memorabilia. You could go get this and other Indianapolis Colts. Yes, canvas paintings. Yes, and a lot of them are, you can get them, that one right there, which was specifically made for me, and then other ones that are made over on the Backroom Collection. Very awesome stuff. Go check it out, please. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. Also, don't forget to check us out on Newsbreak, because now that I'm feeling better, I'm going to start dropping stuff on Newsbreak like consistently. Probably 3 or 4 videos every day. Every day. Whether Loyalist is here with me or not, I don't care. I will be like sleeping, be like, so the Colts need to do this tomorrow. And I'm going to upload it, and it's just going to go there, all right? So make sure you go check that out, because that's a great way to support us by downloading the app, giving us a follow, because every time you use the link in this description, it puts money in our pockets. Thank you. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. Anthony Hurt jumps into the chat, says, Law, they could have won that game in the end if it wasn't for a lucky turnover. And, well, yes. And, if, ands, and buts, coconuts and all that other neat stuff. We won. And the Colts, they get turnovers. And it's not just because, they're lucky. A lot of them are intentionally trying to rip the ball out, And they could have won by a lot. The Colts could have won by a lot. This was a hard-fought game, especially in the second half, And you expect that from division rivals. This team just beat Buffalo before the Colts beat them, all right? They held Buffalo to 6 freaking points, all right? 6 points. I'm okay with the way the Colts won because they won. That makes me very, very happy.
Yeah, and the thing is, like we mentioned earlier, this team had gone through these lulls where they weren't answering the bell in the fourth quarter. This game they did. They showed, okay, we can experience this toughness and still come through out on the top side of things, And everybody's looking down at this Jacksonville team. For me, I feel like they're very similar in the Colts as far as the first quarter of their year was really rough just because they were a rookie team, rookie coach, rookie all this. But they've really started to, pull it together. And like you said, even in the games that they've lost, they've not been getting blown out. And their defense is legit. I mean, that Jacksonville defense, you start looking at their overall ranking for the year, and it doesn't tell the true story because, I mean, they were a turnstile the first 3-4 weeks of the season. And now over the last, 3 or 4 weeks, they've really stepped up their play in both the run and pass defense.
All right. So, first off, Ninkowski says the hoodie is awesome. Appreciate you enjoying it. I love them. Guys, don't forget you could check out my merch in the link in the description. I'm not going to click that button this time. Excuse me. Zach Erlinson, what's up? He says, what about Frank's play calling? It's a reoccurring trend, swinging hard in the early, and then the second half, pretty much every game goes flat. Having only 20 yards the rest of the game after the first quarter is unacceptable. It's you talk about Jonathan Taylor. Did you not notice that they were stopping the run because the offensive line was not being able to block as well? Okay? That offensive line was hurt. Did you not see Quentin Nelson go out? Did you not see Chris Reed holding people? I mean, we had a ton of penalties. You can't blame Frank Reich on that, because generally the Colts are low on penalties. I mean, what didn't the game like fourth in the NFL, least penalized team in the NFL?
Yeah.
Freak thing happened, all right? They got penalized a lot. And then, when you get hit on, end up being second and 20, your hands are kind of tied on what you can do at that point, Also, they would run the ball. Taylor was running the ball. He was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, Yeah. They were also making play calls. And Carson Wentz generally didn't have much time to throw the football. The offensive line was having problems because injuries was creeping up. I'm not blaming it. Everybody wants to say that it's Frank Reich's play calling. I didn't think it had anything. I thought Frank Reich play called well for the circumstances that he was doing his calls. The offensive line was having problems this game, and that was why. And you can't have offensive line problems against Josh Allen. I'm sorry, guys. I know you're like, Josh who? No, dude. Go check out Josh Allen, his rookie year, started 4 games. Played all 16. Only started 4, maybe 6. But either way, only started a handful of games. Had 10.5 sacks, like 21 quarterback hits, some crap like that. Then last year he gets hurt. Okay? People forgot about him. I didn't forget about him. Man, I was like, his rookie year was freaking fantastic. I knew who Josh Allen was, and I was afraid of Josh Allen single-handedly destroyed Buffalo, okay? Josh Allen was a menace to the Colts in this game too, and I knew it was going to happen. So I thought they did well, like play calling wise. It's just they weren't able to execute as well as you normally see because, to be fair, Jacksonville's secondary's not the greatest, but their front 4, they got 2 or 3 decent dudes there.
Yeah, and like you said, yeah, Josh Allen, he was doing his best impersonation of trying to get into, Buffalo's Josh Allen's jersey all week last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this offensive line, even being beat up and stuff, he did not affect us nearly as much as he did the week before in that game. And as far as coach and I mean, shoot, if I'm not mistaken, haven't we scored like 30-plus points before this week? Wasn't like 30-plus points in the last 5 games, 45 in last week?
They averaged, in the last 6 games before this game, they were averaging 31.5 points a game.
Yeah, I mean, so to sit there and say that coach has, just keeps leveling out and stuff, I think it doesn't do him justice because, like I said, a lot of the run questions and stuff that I have been in the fourth quarter, yes, but it's there again. This offense has still managed to move the ball, still managed to put points pretty much on every defense shy of week 3 against Tennessee, and that was just because we had, peg leg Wentz, trying to play on the busted up ankles. I feel like this offense has not been where these games are being lost. Honestly, for me, it's more of the pass defense and allowing these guys to throw for 350, 400 yards in a game.
Yeah, it didn't happen last night.
I know, right?
Hoodrich Rose says, Jags are no pushovers. It's a divisional game, bro. We just be glad that we pulled this one off. They always play us tough. They beat us last year, first game of the year. Embarrassed us, right? So now we still have to play them again. Hopefully we win again. Darren.
That's why I told my wife and my kid. I was like, they're like, what happened? We were doing so good. I said, the coach just doesn't want to tick them off before we play them the second time of the year because all these AFC games are going to matter so well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I said Hoodrich. I thought I said Jags. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Jags, because they're divisional opponent. Darren Manus says Meyer was throwing pressure everywhere. JT got 20 carries. We won, and people still complain. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor got his carries. Yeah. They were just in the second half after those injuries and holding calls and stuff. If that one holding call hadn't been called on Chris Reed, Jonathan Taylor would have had over 150 yards rushing. Okay.
Are you talking about the non-holding call?
Yeah.
On the 33-yard
The one that DeQuell Jackson, who is a linebacker, looked at that and said that was tic-tac. There was a lot more egregious calls that could have been made than that one. So that says something.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, there was a time where we lost Q for a little while, and then when he came back, he looked like he gained an extra 15 pounds in 1 foot. I mean, then you had Darius basically go through the same thing. Man, when I seen him grab that ankle, I just cringed because I was like, I'm not saying that this team can do without Quentin Nelson, but I mean, if Quentin Nelson goes down, we still got Chris Reed. We still got man. If we lose Darius,
interior of the offensive line is fine. Yeah, but you're right. If Darius goes down, who are we going to replace him with? Really? Mm-hmm. I mean, our EJ Speed, I guess.
Yeah. But he didn't. So, like I said, But yeah,
that surprised me.
There was a lot of that for me this game. It's like, oh, not another injury. And it's like, man, and then just every time you start feeling like things were okay, we got a little off track, but we're getting things back online, and boom, somebody else go down. Yep. But for me, like I said, this game was all about the defense, and that's secondary. I mean, Kenny Moore, Isaiah Rodgers, these guys really just balled the heck out this weekend. And yeah, I understand that some of it was, Lawrence misthrowing and stuff, but there again, that's
when
we can't
did
control
throw
that.
Well, when he did throw accurately,
mm-hmm.
They played well. -1 play.
Yeah.
That stupid 3rd and 17, when Eberflus was like, let's go back to what I like to do, and that's soft zone, play 15 yards off the receivers, and just stare at the quarterback and not watch anyone, because I don't know if you've noticed this, Loyalist, and it kind of ticks me off. I'm okay with zone as long as you pay attention to guys running in and out of your zone, right? And then kind of cheat towards them once in a while, Eberflus don't want you to do that. He wants you to go to the center of your zone, stare at the quarterback, and react when he looks at you. That's it. And that's a problem I have big time, because that pass for that first down was between 4 damn Colts defenders, all of them 5 yards away from him. All right? Mm-hmm. One of those guys should have been able to cheat over there and make a play on the ball. But they didn't, and it's not their fault. It's because of the way Eberflus teaches that zone defense.
Yeah. But I will say, in his defense, I felt like he was bringing a little bit more pressure, in the third and late fourth quarters. It wasn't as egregious as it has been in weeks past, where you just get in that zone and just sit there, like you said, and play the whole quarter and a half, no matter how many points they score, just doing the same thing. I mean, like I said, this weekend, the defensive rush was getting there a little better. Our young sack squad and Quiddy and Odangbo were starting to, find their way a little bit, which, like you said earlier on Twitter, has to probably make things a little bit easier for the DeForest Buckners, and stuff, whenever you start having to worry about these guys coming from the edges and stuff.
These other players, these other teams, they're all losing to teams they should not lose to. Tampa Bay just lost to a team they should not lose to. Buffalo last week lost to a team they should not have lost to. The Titans lost to a team they should not have lost to. The Colts have yet to lose to a team they shouldn't lose to, right? They've beaten everyone they're supposed to beat. It's the tough games that they're taking down to the wire that they're losing, right? They got to find a way of winning those. Arizona just got their butts whooped by someone that they shouldn't have lost to, It's crazy. It's nuts. And the thing that gives me hope is that Indy makes it a game against good teams and generally blow out the weaker teams, and I'm okay with that. The Jacksonville game, that's a divisional rival. You expect that.
Yeah, and in the Ravens game and the Titans second game, we had leads in all these games. We had leads and we just didn't finish it out. I agree that we haven't really lost a game that we shouldn't have lost, but I do feel like we've lost some games in ways that we shouldn't have lost them.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah. And that is fixable. That's not due to inferior coach. Okay, that's not due to not having the talent or the coaching staff to get the job done. It's just we didn't get that job done at that instant.
Made a
Like you
mistake.
said, yeah. I mean, these guys are. This team is starting to round into shape, and Coach Reich, sat there in his victory speech, and he said a question, and it just, I mean, it was just like he's like, why not us? Why can't we take control of this AFC? I mean, everybody's sitting there saying nobody's taking control of the AFC, and I feel like the Titans, for my take,
Right now, they're tied for the best league in the NFL.
Yeah, but I mean, even their wins, I mean, they've played some really good teams and won in good fashion. You know what I mean? But there again, that like Sunday. You sit there and said, what?
This past 2 weeks, they just beat two of the best teams in the NFL without their two best players.
Mm-hmm. And you sit there and you look at, what is it, Buffalo, I think is the second team. They've got 6 wins. Okay. Now, granted, they've already had their bye week, but still they got their 6 wins. There's not a team outside of the Titans that has more than a game and a half lead on us in the entire AFC.
Yeah.
So, yes, it is congested. And quite honestly, I think we're starting to see things level out because, like, now the Raiders are coming down a little bit, but the Chiefs are cycling up like we sort of thought, they're filling that void. I feel like the Bengals are sort of, and the Browns are sort of falling down. And in the AFC North, I feel like the Ravens and daggone Steelers, even when they lose, or not, even when they don't win a game, they still get themselves in a position where they're going to have the upper hand now in the standings, with that tie. So it's like I said, all this stuff seems to be leveling out in the way that we sort of predicted earlier on. It just was a crazy start to the season. And the thing is, if we just keep, like Coach says, if we just keep working one week at a time, one game at a time. I mean, this Buffalo game, massive game. No arguing, no denying it. Going to be a tough task. But I'm telling you right now, there is not anything that Buffalo has done this year that has given me concern that we can't beat them, because they've shown that they're susceptible to certain aspects. They've shown that they're lacking in certain areas, like their run game is a little lacking. You know what I mean?
The only thing about this Buffalo game that gives me pause, and which makes me think that this game could be a blowout on either way, is we're talking about the number 1 and the number 2 turnover defense in the NFL playing against each other. Okay? So that could be cause for concern. And the Colts could blow Buffalo out. I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
I expect it to be a high-scoring, close game. Probably both teams scoring in the 30s. But it could be a turnover fest too, Yeah. So I mean, pay attention. Darren Mena says that Stallworth is going to be a real stud he's never heard of. I remember when Stallworth was picked up from the Niners right after we traded for Buckner. Matter of fact, I think I did some film. I looked at his film, and to be fair, he has became very similar to Grover Stewart. Started out the same way, became the same way. He was a block eater. That's what he was. He was that one tech, that guy who was going to eat 2 guys and hold his position. He was never a pass rusher, right? Even in his film room, he's got a nice first step if he's got to go straight away, right? A straight away, he's good. But he's mainly there to eat blocks and stuff the run. And he's very good at that. And I'm glad he's on the team. He's a good rotational piece for Buckner and Grover. But is John Brown? Yo, John Brown is not with the Bills. I think John Brown's done in the NFL right now. I think he's on IR. He got released. He got picked up by another team. Who was it? I can't remember. Let me look. Hold on.
Yeah, because
go ahead. Talk.
I was just sitting there thinking, wasn't it the Seahawks? But I think they picked up Josh Cribbs, or Josh Gordon or whatever. But
Gordon.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, for me, this game it can go either way. Like you said, I feel like this game, there's a lot of moving pieces, but Buffalo doesn't sit there. Like I said, for me, Buffalo doesn't look like an insurmountable, plateau to reach. And like,
He's a Jaguar.
do what?
He's a Jaguar.
Oh, is he?
John Brown is a Jaguar. Wow.
Okay. But yeah, I just, like I said, the Buffalo game, the Tampa game, these games, yes, they're definitely going to be what dictates how the rest of this season goes for us. So, we've already said, starting 2-3 weeks ago, every game is going to be basically a playoff game. We can afford to lose maybe one, possibly two more games, depending on whether it's in the AFC or the NFC. But like I said, this AFC we're beating ourselves up. Everybody's beating ourselves up. So if the Colts can start coming together and keep linking together these wins, get us in the playoffs, and then let's just see where the chips fall.
Yeah. Skylar and Kirsten, appreciate you being in here. Says it's great to win a game, even though your quarterback isn't lighting the stats up. Plenty of quarterbacks struggle in games and find ways to win. It's because this is a team game, right? It's a team game. Sometimes your passing game's not there. Your defense and your running game got to step it up. Maybe special teams, That's why the Colts, they've got good special teams. Shout out to Zaire Franklin. He had himself one hell of a first half. Oh, my goodness. Yep. He made a tackle for loss on a freaking screenplay that was nasty. He got that block on that punt, which was it EJ that picked up and ran in for a touchdown?
Speed. Yes, sir. He was not going to be denied. Nope. We had two touchdowns like that. EJ's touchdown was like that, and JT's touchdown was like that. Mm-hmm. It was like on his, where it was like, oh, he's going to fall, and then all of a sudden you just seen reaching across, and I was like, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, it was a fun game for me to watch. I like, because I remember Jacksonville was like, we're going to be more physical. We're going to be, yeah, I love the fact that the coach sat there and reminded the team of that this week. He's like, they're going to be more physical. They're going to be more physical than Quentin Nelson. They're going to be, yeah, guys, what do you think about that? And I feel like we saw it and we heard their message loud and clear.
We'll get into the Buffalo game a little bit more this Friday when we do our Friday stream. I am starting to feel a little bit in my chest. Brandon does say it'll be nice to get some revenge for last year's wild card. I agree. I hope we win this game. I almost want to beat Tampa worse though in their NFC. Same with the Patriots. But it is what it is. Hopefully my chest will start feeling better here pretty soon. But the longer I talk, the worse it gets. Guys, we've been live for about 35 minutes. Got 20-some people in here. Please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you're notified next time we go live. Also share it with your favorite social media if you don't mind with that little share button down there underneath Loyalist. Brandon says, my mom is still sick too. Y'all just need to get better already. Amen. I'm not sick anymore. I know it don't sound like it. I'm technically not sick. I am in the recovery process. That's the problem. Because I had COVID. Okay? I'm going to announce it. I ended up with COVID. I got hit with it pretty darn hard. Okay? And my whole family had it. Me, my son, me and my wife are pretty much hermits. We don't leave the freaking house. My son got a new job at a pizza place about 3 weeks ago, came home with it 2 weeks ago, and gave it to us. Had a test done Friday, Saturday, came back that we tested positive. So, yeah, fun times. It was really rough, and we're trying to get over it. Wasn't for sure if I should mention it or not, but
yeah,
I might as well go ahead and tell you guys. But yeah, at least I got through it, and now my body once it recovers should be stronger for it. So, yay! All right. Might be another week or two before I sound normal, though. If that's what my doctor says. But Fun times. Probably tomorrow I will be doing some recordings with Loyalist to put on Newsbreak. Don't forget to check out the DeQuell Jackson video that we posted earlier today, right before I went live. Because, yeah, like I said, really good stuff, really awesome stuff. Go check us out on Instagram. Or you could, where are you at on Instagram, Loyalist?
Okay, I have an Instagram account. I have no clue how to use it or anything. It's like, okay, so I went and built me one up, but like I said, I keep getting all these notifications and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'll click it and see who's showing me what. But
Go
yeah,
to Colts Law on Instagram. You could hit me up there. And then check out Colts. In the description of the video, there's links where you can find us on our social media. But guys, I'm going to run. Like I said, my chest is killing me. Thanks again, Fuzzy Whistler. You are awesome. Appreciate every bit. I mean, good Lord. Anyhow, any final words, Loyalist?
Nah, I just hope you get feeling better, brother. I'm glad the family and you guys are starting to bounce back, and you know, now all we got to do is get ourselves ready so we can enjoy another win next Sunday.
Yes, I hope so too. Until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. Oh, hold on. I got another question down here by Silencius Seuss. How you feel about our secondary? I think we have great talent in the secondary position. I'm not overly fond of our zone scheme. It puts him behind. Joe 561, watching that Jags game was nerve-wracking. It is what it is. I was nerve-wracked too, but they got a good defensive line. Charday, what's up? Says someone other than Pittman has to step up in the wide receiving core. T.Y.'s not quite back yet fully. I think Zach Pascal plays pretty well. Nankovsky says, feel better. I hope to soon. Until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.